Hello everyone and welcome back to the series Budget 2024 and 2025. In this series, we are discussing all the major allocations that were made to different sectors of the economy in the Union Budget that was presented on Tuesday by the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. And today, we are going to discuss about yet another important sector of the Indian economy, which is the agriculture sector. So on Tuesday, the Finance Minister unveiled a series of initiatives aimed at bolstering the agriculture sector and promoting the rural economic growth. Now let's get a brief understanding about our agriculture system. Agriculture forms the backbone of Indian economy, employing a significant portion of its population and contributing substantially to its GDP. It encompasses farming, soil cultivation, crop cultivation, and animal husbandry for food, wool, and various products. It holds the position of the primary industry in India since 1947, covering almost 43% of country's geographical area. And additionally, over 58% of the rural households rely on agriculture as their main livelihood. Now this video delves into the key measures that were announced for agriculture and allied sectors, emphasizing natural farming, enhanced vegetable production, national cooperation policy, pulses production, shrimp farming, and the rural economic growth. Additionally, it also talks about the broad economic strategies, including the land reforms and the digital public infrastructure for the agriculture and the allied sector. Now, with an allocation of almost 1.5 lakh crores, the budget aims to enhance the productivity, resilience, and sustainability in the farming practices across India. So let's look at some of the key announcements for the agriculture and the allied sectors that were made in the budget. The first one is the promotion of natural farming. Now, natural farming is a chemical-free, livestock-based farming. It is a diversified system that integrates crops, trees, and livestock, allowing the optimum use of functional biodiversity. It holds the promise of enhancing farmers' income while delivering many other benefits such as restoration of the soil fertility and the environmental health. Budget announcement will promote natural farming in India by introducing its practices to 1 crore farmers over the next 2 years by the way of certification and branding to support the transition from the conventional farming to natural farming. And at the same time, it will enhance the sustainability and reduce dependency on chemical fertilizers and pesticides, which affect our soil health as well as the water table. The second area for allocation is the increased vegetable production. Let's just look at India's performance in the past years regarding the vegetable production. India is the second largest producer of vegetable in the world after China, accounting for 15% of global production. In the year 2022 and 23, India produced an estimated of 212.9 million tons of vegetables. Now the budget will increase this vegetable production furthermore by establishing large-scale vegetable production clusters and at the same time promotes farmer-producer organizations, the cooperatives and the startups for vegetable supply chain, which will ultimately reduce the food wastage that is hampering India's vegetable production. It will also improve the vegetable output and the supply chain efficiency, at the same time increasing the employment rate in this particular sector. The third major area is the National Cooperation Policy. A 48-member committee led by Sri Suresh Prabhakar Prabhu was set up to develop the new National Cooperation Policy, which has not been set since 2003. The committee has drafted the policy report, which is now being finalized. To promote a cooperative-based economic development model where technology, skills and education works together is the primary objective of this committee. Now this policy is being formulated to realize the government's vision of Sahkar se Samriddhi. It will have a holistic approach for the primary agriculture credit societies moving upwards. The budget will promote the overall development of the cooperative sector through strengthening the cooperative movement and enhancing the economic participation with the involvement of grassroots level economy. The fourth major area for allocation was the strengthening of pulse production. Let's just understand how much pulses India produces in a year. India is the largest producer, approximately 25% of the global production, as well as the consumer, approximately 27% of world's consumption, and the importer, and somewhere around 14% of the world's pulses are being yearly produced, consumed and imported in India. Now, pulse accounts for 20% of the area under food grains and contributes around 7 to 10% of the total food grain production in the country. Though pulses are grown in both Kharif and Rabi seasons, Rabi pulses contribute more than 60% of the total production. So the budget will enhance this pulse production by enhancing the production, storage and marketing of pulses, and at the same time will increase the pulses output and the stability in the market supply, thereby contributing to the 5 trillion economy's dream. The fifth major area for allocation is the promotion of rural economic growth. By fast-tracking the rural economic growth and creating employment opportunities, the government is trying to make the youth of the rural India realize their dreams and work for promoting the economy without leaving their households. This will also improve the livelihoods and economic stability in rural areas. The sixth major area for allocation is the shrimp farming support. Now, shrimp is a crustacean, a form of shellfish, which is characterized by a semi-transparent body flattened from side to side and a flexible abdomen terminating in a fan-like tail. And shrimp farming is about raising shrimps in the controlled environments such as the ponds, tanks and raceways for human consumption. The budget will promote shrimp farming by providing financial aid to shrimp farmers and market activities, and at the same time networking of the nucleus breeding centers for shrimp brood stocks through NABARD. It will also boost shrimp production and the export potential capabilities of the startups and the established industry in the shrimp farming. Now that we have seen all the major allocations that were made to agriculture and allied sectors from the budget, let's talk about the allocation and the financial support given to these sectors from the overall budget. The total allocation, as we have discussed earlier, is approximately 1.5 lakh crores. So now let's understand the department-wise allocations. The first and foremost is the Agriculture and Farmers Welfare Department, and approximately 1.2 lakh crores has been allocated to this particular department. The second department is of Agriculture Research and Education, and approximately 9,000 crores has been allocated. The third department for allocation is the Fertilizers Department, and approximately 164,000 crores, notably reduced from previous year, has been allocated to this department. The fourth department is of Fertilizer Subsidy. Now, before knowing the allocation, let's just understand what this department is about. Fertilizer subsidy is a payment made by the government to the fertilizer producers to allow farmers to buy fertilizers at a lower price than the market rate. The subsidy is the difference between the cost of production or import of a fertilizer and the amount paid by the farmers. And the government's goal is to make fertilizer more accessible to farmers and ensure India's agriculture self-sufficiency. Its allocation got a bit reduced significantly, raising concerns among the farmers' organization. Now, let's understand the food subsidies. The food subsidy in India is the difference between the economic cost of food grains procured by the government and their sales realization. The Government of India provides food subsidies to the targeted beneficiaries through the National Food Security Act 2013 and the other welfare schemes as well. The food subsidy is the largest component of the Department of Food and Public Distribution, accounting almost 95% of its total budget. And the subsidy is given to the Food Corporation of India as well as the states of India, and is used to provide food grains to the targeted beneficiaries at a subsidized rate under various central schemes. And its allocation also got decreased, raising concerns for the common people of India. So after getting a brief of all the allocations of the department-wise as well as the sector-wise for the agriculture and allied sectors from the budget, now let's try and understand about the land reform measures that were announced in the budget. First and foremost, let's see what a land reform is. Now, land reforms in India is a process that involves changing laws, regulation and customs related to the land ownership. And the goal is to improve the agriculture sector, which includes the land tenure system, cultivation patterns, and farm organization. Land reforms can also address issues of social injustice and exploitation within the agrarian system. The land reforms has a great role in the rural agrarian economy that is dominated by land and agriculture. And some new land innovative reforms measures should be adopted with a new vigor to eradicate rural poverty. Now, budget's objective is to comprehensively perform the land reforms, including the land administration, planning and management, and several new initiatives. By far, we have seen what an agriculture system is, what sort of allocations were made to the agriculture and its allied sectors, and what are the different allocations that were made to departments within the agriculture system. Now, let's conclude our video by saying that the union budget presented by the finance minister is a strategic blueprint that aims at rejuvenating India's agriculture sector. With a focus on natural farming, enhanced vegetable production, the cooperative development, budget promises to boost the productivity, sustainability, and the rural economic growth. While some reductions in the subsidies have raised concerns, and I might add eyebrows as well, the comprehensive measures for land reforms and digitization indicate a forward-thinking approach to modernizing agriculture and its allied sectors. Thank you so much for watching the video and stay tuned for the upcoming one.